Now Assist for CSM. So generative AI. Privileged enough to be able to present parts of this slide. A few weeks ago to a group in Orlando at a snug. ServiceNow is doubling down on GenAI, so there's a lot coming. A lot that I haven't even seen, some stuff, the safe harbor statement. So there's a lot on the horizon for AI. So we should all get familiar with it. ServiceNow has been investing in AI. I won't speak to all of these. I don't know all the details to all these acquisitions they've made along the way. But as you can see, it's pretty linear. As I alluded to, they're not slowing down. So they're continuing to invest, continuing to buy into generative AI, because let's be real, it really is the future. It's just kind of the tip of the sword in terms of efficiency and all the good stuff that comes with generative AI. Generative AI is different than task intelligence. Generative AI is not predictive intelligence. It's not a lot of the things that we're used to in the system. There are other parts and pieces. Predictive intelligence specifically requires a boatload of data, 50,000 records, to go and churn through to try to understand, detect algorithms, patterns, and then be aware of those to kind of tell you what's coming. Generative AI is not that, okay? But it is a partner to it. So if you use the two in concert, you can have a very, very streamlined and intelligent platform that can really, really, really help you avoid big catastrophes, reduce your mean time resolution, lots of things. So very, very powerful if you're able to use them in concert. How does it improve the experience? Cost is probably the one that most people pick up when they hear it. When I spoke in Orlando a few weeks ago, I made sure to bring home that the person, the analyst sitting at a desk with hands on keys, that is your most expensive resource. Customer service specifically, we put a lot of stop gaps between the end user and that agent. So knowledge base, contextual search, virtual agent, all of the things that we try to put as a wall, essentially, to keep you from getting to our most expensive resource. Generative AI is another wall that they're trying to put up, which is a good thing, right? So we come in and we implement for customers. Our end goal is return on investment. We're buying this tool, they're paying us to implement it. They want to see their costs go down or their productivity go way up, reflective to that cost, right? But ultimately, the goal is to get more back on the dollar spent. So Now Assist for CSM. They've got a bunch of things they're rolling out. This was a September 23 release. These are the most recent slides I'm able to get and put together. I'll show some slides, some screenshots of the platform as we move through this deck. I don't have access to an instance with Now Assist on it. They're not letting us turn it on in our vendor instances, and I've not been fortunate enough to land on a project with one yet either. The screenshots I was able to grab are from a lab instance for some enablement that I took a few months ago, I guess, at this point. So we'll roll down the list. Now Assist in AI search. It can be used in the portal for virtual agent, things like that. What it'll do is you type, the contextual search will try to surface knowledge base articles for you. Sometimes those knowledge base articles are written in technicalese, which means that unless you kind of understand what's going on in that knowledge base article in terms of its content, understand the language that it's been given to you, it can be confusing, which is counterproductive. So Now Assist in AI search will kind of surface those knowledge base articles, and it will kind of churn through the content that's in there and reword it, simplify it, summarize it. And then a lot of times it's kind of dumbed down, for lack of a better term. It's boiled down to something that is much simpler to understand. I know myself as a technical person, sometimes I struggle not to use the vernacular that I do with my peers. And again, that's true in a lot of knowledge base articles. So unless you have a team that is really dedicated and really good at going through those knowledge base articles and making sure that even people who aren't super technical can consume them, AI search can help with that. Chat summarization. If you do land up on a website or on a service portal and you're conversing back and forth with a virtual agent and you get handed off to a live agent, the agent has the ability to summarize that chat with a quick action. So they can get a summary of all the context, all the things, all the knowledge articles, all the things we've tried, all the topics you consumed, bulleted when that chat is handed over. Similarly, case summarization will do the same sort of thing. There's a requirement of about 200 words in customer comments and work notes. There's a quick action in that activity section of the workspace where you can submit all that data to generative AI and it'll summarize it in a bulleted fashion, which is really, really nice. And I've got screenshots of both of those. The Now Assist panel is the top right. A lot of us use it. They'll copy paste an incident number or a case number. It's global search. What that will do, it's contextually aware of the case that you're looking at or the record that you're looking at on your screen, and it'll summarize it. You can tell it to change the tone, right? Things like that. You can summarize the case, you can summarize resolution notes, lots of things. And then the Now Assist admin console is where you go to turn it all on, where you go to configure it. Right now it's pretty basic, but again, we'll cover that a little more depth here in a minute. Key personas, your end users, your customers, your agents, and your admin. We'll kind of talk about the experience that all three of those folks will have. So how do I turn it on? What do I do? How do I configure the skills? How do I, control access to it? Things like that. It's really pretty simple. There's a very clean looking UI builder type experience. You can see on the left side, there's technology, customer, employer, creator, and platform. Those are the different silos that Now Assist works in, right? So technology is going to be for ITOM, ITSM, customer is going to be CSM, employer is HRSD. So Now Assist and the generative AI functions that they're rolling out are available platform-wide. Case summarization, these are what the configuration records look like as of Vancouver. Some of the things are locked down. The case table is locked down. Yes, case types will work as they extend that table. The input fields, you can see description, short description, work notes, and additional comments. That's it for now. We can't modify that. You can see digging in a little further. So once we've defined the inputs and the table that we're going to use for this, we're going to go ahead and determine what features we want to use. So in product is the case assist and the case summarization, the work notes, and then the Now Assist panel as well. Right, so you can use one or both of them, and you can define what roles have access to them. There is, we'll touch lightly on this later on, but of course there's a cost to all this, right? Because these are all calls to a generative AI service. Once you've done that, you can go through and again, kind of turn it all on, figure out exactly when you want things to be triggered and when you want them to be automated, how you want them to be formatted, that property, bulleted list property at the bottom. I always recommend turning that on. The little bit that I've played with it, if you don't turn it on, it just ends up as a text blob. Bulleted list applies some formatting and makes it a little easier to read. The admin panel, so you can see here we've got the different plugins that you can get. In this particular instance, you can see service portfolio management, ITOM, HRSD, and then creator for scoped apps, of course. Just a little bit of an overview there. The account, one of the concerns, one of the questions that came up in the enablement, and then again in the snug was, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing with my data? Where's that going? Right? Are you sending this to ChatGPT? How are you making sure that my PII or my intellectual property that I own as an organization is not just landing out in the nether where evildoers can get a hold of it and do bad things with it. So ServiceNow uses an in-house natural language library. So it's not sent out into the nether, it's kept in-house. It goes through a number of screens before it's collected and used to train their model, removing PII, removing intellectual property, basically sterilizing it as far as they can before it's added to the model to use for training, of course, to make it more productive, more responsive. Because it's kept in-house, it's not sent out to ChatGPT. The response time is much faster. I don't know if you guys have used ChatGPT before, but depending on the time of day, it can take a little bit for it to return some results. You can imagine what that experience would be like to a customer interacting with your virtual agent or an agent looking for a case summarization or resolution suggestion, right? If it took several seconds, it doesn't seem like a long time, but when you've got lots to do, it is, and it adds up. So keeping it in-house increases the efficiency and reduces that round trip from submission to response. Portal search. So in the portal, and again, I apologize for not having a live instance to display this to you. Portal search, when it's enabled there, a customer or internal user can go and use the search, knowledge search, or just the search on the landing page. I'm sure you all have seen it, to submit what it is they're looking for. Again, Now Assist is going to consume that data. It's going to suggest a catalog item or a knowledge base article. When it suggests a knowledge base article, it's going to summarize it for you. And again, boil it down, make it a little more easy to understand, remove some of the technical jargon out of it. And Virtual Agent will do the same thing. So again, when you go into Virtual Agent, it says, how can I help you? And you say, can't log into my email. It's going to surface relative knowledge base articles, and again, kind of boil those down. You can see here, this icon, this little sparkly icon. Anytime Now Assist is used, you'll see that icon. It'll be evident that it was used and it's being referenced on the screen. This is the little glittery icon I was talking about. You will see that. Here it is. I know this is a little smaller, a little tougher to see here. But again, everywhere Now Assist is used, whether it's a resolution or case summary, you will see that. So here you can see this is an example of George Warren, who is a contact, went to the knowledge base or went to the portal and submitted a value saying that, my internet is intermittent, slow. And you can see this is extracted from the troubleshoot your internet, explore these tools, right? So it surfaces that top article and then it starts to summarize it for you. You could, of course, view the article as well. It'll take you right into it. Same thing here. So if he added the same search, my internet is slow or I can't connect, same deal, same functionality between the two interfaces. How does it work from the agent perspective? How does this tool empower me to do what I need to do more quickly, more efficiently? So agent workspace here, you can see we've got a chat here on the left-hand side. This agent would have utilized the chat summary when it came over. So that was in the Now Assist. It can automatically, once it's handed over to an agent, summarize that for you. Okay, and again, here's the AI chat summary, a little bit of an eye chart, see a little glitter icon there. It is private, so of course the customer doesn't see it, but you can see, it goes through everything above here and summarizes it for you. What articles you've viewed, what topics you've been to, basically everything you've done before you get handed off to the agent. A little easier to see here. Quick action in the chat /summarize will get you that summary again. So if after the handoff, you want to re-summarize things, again, it'll consume everything that's happened previously in the chat. It'll bullet that out for you. This is the bulleted format. Without it, just imagine no bullets, right? It'd be a little hard to kind of pick things apart, a little easier to read with the formatting. Case summarization. So in the middle, in the activity section, again, there's about 200 words that are required for it to really be useful. Anything less than that doesn't really give the language model the information it needs to summarize things. So it will work, but it's not very useful. So again, there will be, in this section, there's a summarize. Click summarize. There's the little sparkly icon again. We can share it directly to the work notes. So put that summary in there, which is nice because if you're ever doing a post-case review or you need some milestones in resolution, you can always go back and review those. Those, of course, can be added to your case action summary. Copy paste them out of there, put them in your case action summary. There's a couple of quick link buttons down here at the bottom. I think I have a better image of it. I do. Cool. So Now Assist case summary is here. Little button, real easy to use. Click it. It's going to take all that data, send it off, about 200 words. And you can thumbs up, thumbs down it. Remember, we're training a model. So this input is very valuable to the curation of useful responses. Okay. And again, you can drop this right into the work notes here. You can see that it maintains the format. It's really nice. Copy it, go over to a case action summary, paste it in there. Or if it's not quite right, not quite what you need, there's also a refresh. So it'll send that off and try to summarize it better. Resolution notes. Again, especially if we've got a case that's kind of been around for a while, or it's complex, or I've just got a lot to do. Resolution notes work similarly. When you go to propose your resolution, you have the opportunity to use generative AI to do that. Again, little sparkle here, and then it summarizes again the case in its entirety. Give you a second, just kind of scan through that. Normal suspects to add resolution notes to comments if you want to do that. Checkbox is there. So again, we're not reinventing the wheel. So in 3 clicks, we can have Now Assist construct our resolution notes, construct our proposed solution. You can add it to the comments and send it 3 clicks. So some of you type really quick, some of you don't. You can imagine typing a paragraph or 2 resolution notes. Even if you copy paste that into the comments or you use the checkbox at the bottom, 3 clicks is a lot quicker than 300 characters. So you can see where we start to pick up time, right? So from the onset where the customer is interacting with Now Assist, and we're trying our best to surface things, trying to make them easier to understand, to the summary to the agent once they get handed off in chat, to the summary of the details of the case so far, the case summary, and then proposing the solution, right? You can see where all of a sudden we're picking up minutes each step of the way. That across, however many cases you touch in a day, you just bought yourself the ability to touch 20 more cases today. So you can see how that across a service desk, across a year, that starts to snowball and turn into a lot of savings. Now Assist panel in the top right. I know I have a better image on the next screen of all of the functions that are displayed here. So from Now Assist, remember it's contextually aware to the record that's on your screen. So it knows I'm looking at case 2003. So if I go and I want to summarize the chat or generate some resolution notes, summarize a record, it's going to give me a response. I have the ability to tell it, look, you sound grumpy, so let's change the sentiment a little bit. So you're interacting with a generative AI, so you have that functionality. So that same case, we went in and I hit case summarization, resolution notes, and summarize records. And you can see these are the different modals that it presented me, the different bits of data. And again, if you did want to change the sentiment or the tone, if you wanted to make it longer or shorter, those are all options. Terms and usage. So we talked about how we can save a customer money. Let's talk about what it costs them, right? So there are a couple of parts and pieces of this. I won't speak directly to cost. There are skills, actions, and assists. So I'll let you kind of glance through there. Skills are going to be all the features that I've told you about so far in terms of the resolution notes, the summary, the chat summary. An action is what happens when you take that data and you send that off to Now Assist, okay? And then the assist is really reflective of the complexity of the action. So you can see in the examples below, a case summarization is 1 assist. If you ask something in the Now Assist panel, that's 5 assist with less than 5 interactions. So the summarization of the record, the chat summarization, right? So for less than 5 interactions with that, or change the sentiment, make it longer, then it is 5 assists. Anything more than that jumps up to 10. ServiceNow has built the ability. There are spokes available to call ChatGPT, so you can send your data out. That, of course, is very complex. and requires 50 assists. So you buy those in buckets, just like anything else. I don't know the cost around them. Hopefully we get some information on that, or maybe we can hit up some of the sales folks I see on the call. Maybe they have some idea and they can help me augment that data into this slide deck. How do I know what I'm spending? Man, it's like they've thought of everything. So there's the assist admin page that's going to go through and month after month, tell you what you're using, tell you what agents are doing, tell you what the button that's getting mashed on the most. Track that over time. This nice performance analytics dashboard can help you kind of understand your usage. Unfortunately, it's in arrears. So this has already passed, the bill's already been sent, but at least you have visibility into, if somebody's really overusing it, or maybe you're not using it enough, things like that. So there is an out-of-box way to kind of get your head around what it is that's going on in your instance relative analysis. So a few things you have to have in order to use it. Here pretty soon, the Vancouver patch to or higher will be a moot point because everybody will be at least there. If you do decide to use the OpenAI parts and pieces, of course, you'll need a subscription there, ChatGPT, things like that. Analysis subscription, a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory, right? Got to be on the right release, got to have access to the right resources. Right now, only English is supported. I heard sometime over the summer, they're looking to spin up some additional language. They didn't narrow that time frame down anymore for us, and they didn't indicate which languages would be next on the docket. So I don't have any more information to share with you there, unfortunately. Enablement, lots of it. These are all URLs. Of course, this deck will be available. You can go to Now Learning and search Now Assist or Generative AI. If you need help finding them, hit me up. Tyler Hogue is kind of spearheading all of our efforts for generative AI. He's a good resource. So if you have questions, feel free to ask him too.